So in this video, we'll cover the improvement related to Bonita engines and also the Bonita modules, BCD and BC. So let's start with the Bonita engines and the various technical updates around this release of 7.9. So the first things that we improved on the Bonita engine about the performance is the capability to execute connector asynchronously. Before the version 7.9, when what we call a worker triggers the execution of a connector, it was waiting and holding until the execution of the connector was finished. So it was blocking this unit we call a worker. A worker can be used to execute connectors, but also execute operation or other kind of processing in the Bonita engine. Now in version 7.9, the worker will no longer block actually. It will trigger the execution of the connector and then immediately enter back to the engine, and this worker unit can be used to process other works. So basically on this sequence diagram you can see that the worker thread previously was giving this order to execute a connector to what we call the connector executor, get back an answer, and it was blocked until actually the connector finishes execution in the connector thread. And in case of connectors that was quite long to execute, you might reach a timeout, and in such situation it was up to the worker to cancel the execution of the connectors, to cancel the thread. Now in version 7.9, when the worker threads gives this order to execute a connector, you get immediately an answer, and the thread of the worker is released, and the execution of the connector is submitted to the connector thread. In case the connector execution doesn't complete within the timeout, it's actually a dedicated thread, the scheduled thread, that will take care of doing the cancel operation and update the status of the connector accordingly. So now the connector thread pool and the worker pool can be sized differently, and based on our test we observed that we have major performance improvement, especially when the connector was quite long to be executed. You don't have all the worker blocks because they were waiting for the connector executor to finish. Now they are immediately available to do other processing. You just need to take care, as usual, about the number of connections to the database to make sure that still some connections are available. But if we take a quick look at the chart we have for the connector execution, you can see that the execution, so the duration of the execution of a connector here and the total duration, they used to be quite the same, even if you increase the number of connector threads pool. It's a blue line. No matter what was the size in 7.8 of this pool, it was still the same timing. But now in 7.9, if you increase this pool size, you see that the overall duration of execution is shorter, even when the duration of execution of a connector increases. This is more obvious for long connector timing execution. In this release, we will also update what we call our support matrix, so the environments we use to test Bonita. And the most important update is the Java 11 support. So now Bonita fully supports execution on Java 8 and Java 11. We still compile the product with Java 8. but you can run Bonita on a JVM 8 or 11. You can, of course, as well, write some code in Java 11 using new feature of Java 11. Of course, with this version, Java 11, some features were deprecated and removed from Java. And so some connectors, or some dependency more exactly of connectors, might no longer be compatible with Java 11. This is why we have to update a few connectors we package with Bonita. This includes the web service connector, the email connectors, the MIS connector, and Twitter connector. So we take care of updating all those connectors, and we include in the migration tooling an automatic update of the connector definition used in your application for the list of connectors I provide here. So they will be automatically become compatible with Java 11 when you perform the migration steps. If you have custom code, of course, it will be up to you to make sure that it's properly run on Java 11 if you target this version. Also, we update the database and operating system we support. So we now support Oracle 12 only. We no longer support Oracle 11. We support the latest version of PostgreSQL, the version 11. We support also the latest version of MySQL, the version 8. And we still support SQL Server 2016. For the operating system, we update to Ubuntu 18.04, so still we using the long-term support version. We support Red Hat version 7 and still the Windows Server 2016. Just a side note about MySQL. By default, MySQL used to use a subset of UTF-8, only support character on 3 bytes using UTF-8. They now recommend to use the 4-byte version that cover all the range of Unicode character, but Bonita doesn't yet support this. We plan to include improvement around that in future version. Also an update on the Tomcat bundle, so internal technical detail about the Tomcat bundle, but that is quite important. It's the transaction manager, so the database transaction manager that we package with Tomcat, because Tomcat doesn't provide any by default. So we used to provide Bytronics, and now we're moving to Ahuna. This move was motivated by the fact that this new transaction manager fully supports Microsoft SQL Server. Bytronics wasn't. And actually, it's also the transaction manager used in WildFly. So this way we have only a single type of transaction manager, and it was already tested with Bonita. And of course, our Docker image has been updated to include this change. A few more various updates. So we update Tomcat to the latest patch release, so version 8.5.40. So we make sure this way we are always up to date with any security patch that might be available. And we update a few set of internal libraries, but this will not impact your development. And to finish around the engine, a few deprecated features. So HGB will be deprecated in this version 7.9. It's still available, but it's deprecated. There are a few facts that motivate our decision to deprecate HGB. First one is that it's not compatible. It doesn't work with Java 11. Also, we don't have any clients that are currently using HGB. And we rather want to focus on the REST API. So if you are using HGB, you will for now get a warning in the logs, but you should probably expect the feature to be removed in version 7.10. Also, as we no longer support DJB, and as Tomcat is now fully compatible with SQL Server, there is no longer actual need of having a WildFly bundle. So Bonita can still be deployed on WildFly, but technically will only provide one bundle in 7.10. So the WildFly bundle is deprecated in 7.1, even if it's still available. But this way we'll be able to focus on one application server and dedicate all the effort to test this one, so to improve the quality of our bundle. And that's it for the evolution around the Bonita engine. And now let's have a look about what we call labs or innovation around Bonita engine. So Engine Labs is a way to test, for the user to test new feature that we provide. So just first of all, a little clarification about what we call labs at Bonitasoft. So it's not an alpha or a beta release. There is no guarantee that what we provide in the labs will ever be part of Bonita product. We don't have any guarantee about the stability of what we provide. If you start building something using a labs feature, it might not be part of a future release of Bonita. It might have a total different API. So there's no guarantee about the stability. What we want to do with labs is to get feedbacks from our users, our customers, and our community users on the new feature we plan to include in Bonita. This way we make sure that we can tune and adjust the feature to match actual user needs, and make sure that the first version of this feature is mature enough and stable enough to be used in production. So it's really a way to gather early feedback and to experiment to deliver more value to the clients and users. So in this version, in 7.9, we want to provide a new way to use Bonita Engine. Right now, if you want to use Bonita Engine, you usually create your application in Bonita Studio and you deploy it on your Bonita engine using the Bonita portal. And so you need to have this application and server deployed. And if you want to integrate it with your application, you're usually using the API to drive the process execution from your application. Now we want to provide a way to directly embed the Bonita engine into your application. So without any portal or extra services, it's only the Bonita engine. So you can do this in what I call a standalone approach, where you embedded Bonita engine as a dependency and you start and configure the Bonita engine programmatically. And we provide also what we call a solution for users of Spring Boot, so to easily integrate Bonita Engine in your Spring Boot application. If you are interested in embedded Bonita Engine into your application, please take a look at the documentation pages dedicated to this new experimentation in Bonita, so to this new labs feature. And please share your feedback on the community forum, for example, or by reporting some idea of improvements on the community tracker, or to people you are in contact with at Bonitasoft. And a last feature of bring by this new version of Bonita is the Bonita Cloud offer. So it's a beta offering. We are experimenting with our customers this new offer, but here's an overview, very quick overview, but what we bring with Bonita Cloud. So it will be a solution to get Bonita runtimes ready to be used, fully managed by Bonitasoft, and Bonitasoft will do the monitoring of the platform, guarantee some SLA, take care also of updating the platform, do the migration, do the backups. All that is handled by Bonitasoft. It also includes the capability of continuous delivery. So we're using the BCD module. The application will be deployed on those environments, and we provide SLA both for the platform and for the support. As I said, this is a beta, it's an early adopter program. So if you are interested in such offer, please get in touch with your sales rep or using the contact us forms on Bonitasoft website. So that's it for the improvements around Bonita Engines, our labs feature, and the new cloud offer. In the next video, we'll cover the additional module of Bonita, BCD and BC for the artificial intelligence